What's up, everyone? Welcome to the MadMan Pod, where we dive headfirst into the wild world of marketing campaigns, business strategies, and up-and-coming brands. I'm joined by the king of caveats, Samir, an executive at a marketing firm, the short king himself of Disney, Salim. He's an executive at a B2B for a B2B brand, and yours truly, Adil. Exciting news. We have our first guest on the pod, and it's prompted by my wife. She finally subscribed, and she said, it sounds like a bunch of frat boys sitting around talking, that we need a girl's perspective. So today we have Sarah Westerman joining us. She's an all-around badass who's built quite the following with fashionistas across the country. Sarah does daily shows about trends and outfits to thousands a day, but her alter ego is being a personality for the Legacy Fighting Alliance, a UFC league of mixed martial artists. She's got a knack for understanding brands and customer experience. So Sarah, thanks for stepping out of the octagon and away from the fashion scene to join us. I got to ask you though, you get in front of a lot more people than we do. Do you have like a go-to power song to get you in the zone?
I feel like I should take some time to think about this, but I don't have to. I feel like I could benefit with, like a little sign walking around with it. But I would say right now, my power song is The Greatest by Sia.
Love it, love it. Sia's is a good go-to. Sarah, here's my power song.
Men go mad.
He's gone mad.
MadMen.
You're mad.
The man's mad.
MadMen.
I'm mad.
I can say I can relate to Drake now. This is we're getting bombarded by the fans. They want more of the MadMen pod. So we're going to do 2 episodes a week, and we're kind of changing the format. So this first episode that you're listening to is going to have duds and studs and then brands to watch. And then we're going to offshoot the second episode as our deep dive. So if you have the focus of a goldfish, you'll love the former. But if you love Dateline and documentaries, you'll probably love the deep dive. So a little bit of MadMen for everyone.
So Adil, what happened on social media this week, man? Everybody, all that Nike community runners came after you. They were not happy about you being anti-Nike. Samir in protest is here in a Nike shirt. So am I, by the way. This is all Nike. We're on protest. We're with the Nike community, Adil. What's going on, man?
You guys are total jerks. Thanks for the solidarity, seriously. But yeah, they really came for me. And, like I said, this is how Drake feels. Haters gonna hate. Samir, you just got back from Canada. Is Tim Hortons selling olive oil coffee?
I wasn't even going to bother looking for that. That's not my thing. I will be surprised with Tim Hortons, surprisingly cheap. If you haven't had it, that was really good for the money. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, Tim Hortons is great. If you're new here, this is our Duds and Studs segment where we debate ads, campaigns, and business strategies. We give you our takes and share if we think it's a dud or stud. Today, we're starting with Elon and Dave Portnoy. Several months back, Elon Musk surprised many by appearing at Twitter headquarters with a Seeq in initiating a series of sudden layoffs, calling everyone back to the office, to Twitter to degrade staff. In a similar vein, just last week, Dave Portnoy took the reins of Barstool back. So he owns 100% of Barstool again, and he made quite the dramatic entrance. Portnoy walked in openly criticizing his employees, labeling them as lacking intelligence, and notably discarded the use of these anonymous tip cards that the pen company had left for there. So he said, if you have any issues with your colleagues, build some content around it and, go to them head on. So CEOs back in the day were quite cautious, and upsetting shareholders, having, the public dislike them were real concerns. That's all thrown out with the bathwater. Is the trend of CEOs who prioritize provocative content becoming the new strategy for grabbing the spotlight? So I got to hear from you guys. Is this a dud or stud of a strategy?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to make any argument for a complete stud for this kind of move. No one wants to hear a leader of their company degrade their staff. But I'm gonna look at it from a different perspective. That I think this whole activity from CEOs doing this, I think, is a symptom of a bigger thing that's happening in corporations. And that's this Perk recession. This whole notion of where companies are now cutting back on those prized employee perks, those extra things that you're meant to get for free or give out for free to make people want to join companies and stay there. Remember those free meals, game rooms, fitness classes, doggy daycares on campus. It was random perks to make employees feel good. And we saw all of those kind of day in the life of tech videos that literally showed employees exploiting these benefits. So when companies started taking these privileges away, employees went fuming. And they were so angry that they no longer got to keep their fancy free meals and not nap pods anymore. And now they're being forced back into the office. But who are they mad at? It's the CEO, because these decisions come from the top. I think the CEOs are lashing out publicly because they need to reset the tone with their employees. That all that kind of privileged kiss ass feeling that you want from the company that pays you for your time is gone. They had to reassert that authority. I'm not saying this is a stud, but I'm saying I get it. I get that these CEOs want talent who want to work for them. They want to buy into their vision, but they're making it very clear to their staff and potential talent that we are here in the business of making good products, not in the business of making you feel good. And I think these CEOs kind of lashing out is just kind of a demonstration of that. That I think, like you said, Adil, like CEOs used to be kind of focused very much about what employees and staff really thought about them. And that used to be kind of their key metric of their success. And I don't think that's the case anymore. I think CEOs are held to a different level of standard to deliver work. And they can't do that if they're just trying to appease to their employees. So I think all of this lashing out is just a way of communicating that.
Look, man, unemployment right now is low, right? There's jobs everywhere. I think doing something like this really discredits the employees that are coming there, and they've got jobs, they got options right now. And this type of marketing, this type of messaging, I mean, look, it could be different ways of doing it. You look at Misfits, you look at Ryan Reynolds style marketing, where it's very much the same concept, but it's in a more lighter hearted fashion. That hits home, right? So if you want to promote your business, promote your company, your audience will like it this way versus, making obnoxious noises and saying, hey, look, do you really want to work for me? Like, why would you work for me? And you're also discrediting the people that work there, right? So if I want to go tell, hey, I work at Barstool, well, the Barstool CEO is a jerk. Why do you want to work there? Let me go offer you another job, and he'll jump ship real quick. So I think this is a dud move. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain this company. I mean, of course, he bought it for nothing, but at the end of the day, he wants to keep it alive. So I think it's a dud move for him.
Okay. So I think that any CEO acting in this manner, no, I don't want to work for you. I don't want to be part of the culture, because where is your culture in a business like this? It starts from the top, and then how does it disperse down? It's not culture. That's just you. But I feel like, as far as from a marketing standpoint, whether you are in a grassroots way or using social media, having the right people find you and then growing based off of that, it's a really nice outline. But then you have limited customers and you're always reaching for more. If you pull a stunt like these gentlemen did, regardless of if the people are already following you or if they care about you or if they just want to know what's going on, they're going to hear about Barstool. So it's just a way of almost throwing a huge fishnet out there and saying, we're going to haul in whoever, regardless if they care about Barstool, they're going to know about it. So your name is going to be out there, but what's attached to your name probably does suffer when you have a dud of a man doing that, regardless of having someone come to you because they like your culture or because you're just trying to get attention. I mean, both strategies are great in a certain realm wheel things. But there's this book I really love. It's called I Love It Here by Quint Pulver. Definitely recommend, you guys. And I think as far as appealing to Gen Z people, such as myself, you don't want to have a bad culture. You're not going to be going to work for someone who has a deteriorated culture, because he talks all about the different management roles and styles of leadership after going undercover across the United States and interviewing over 11,000 employees. And what people want is culture, and they want those nice things and the relationship with their, superiors. And you're not going to get that from a person who's already telling you from the jump that they're not willing to stoop to a level that's going to get to the part about you. Why do we go to work? Because ultimately there's a part about you as an employer that you need to fulfill. And if your CEO is telling you that from the start, that you're not going to be able to fulfill that, why do you want to go to work? You don't.
Workplace has become cutthroat. Wouldn't you guys say? I mean, it's not what it was, where now people cringe when they say, oh, we're like a family here, right? I mean, that's like not something, as a CEO, I never want to say that. I actually make a point to say we are not a family. We're, if anything, we're a community, and we're all, going to uphold each other and make sure we have high expectations from each other. Good takes, guys.
I'm going to take us into our next Nutter Stud. You guys remember Lazy Boy? The OG recliner, founded in 1927. Well, guess what? The furniture brand is going through a brand refresh. and they have launched a new marketing platform called Long Live the Lazy. The goal of it is to reclaim the term lazy and empower consumers to embrace what they call the transformational power of comfort. Man, just another amazing way to say lazy. Part of the campaign includes the introduction of something called the decliner, an actual prototype recliner where you pull the lever up to kick up your feet, and it will use AI to generate a cancellation excuse for when you just want to be lazy. So think about that last time you got a text message from someone to come out and you just didn't want to do it. And imagine being able to pull a lever, and Lazy Boy will be able to come up with an excuse to get you out of it. They also released a new ad called We the Lazy that mimics those direct-to-camera political ads with different people standing up for their right to be lazy by sitting down and reclining back. Is this going to make Lazy Boy relevant again, dud or stud?
Look, I think it's going to definitely bring Lazy Boy back into the conversation. I think, look, there's an evolution of the brand when they do brand refreshes, right? First, you start off with, hey, we are whatever we are, right? Lazy Boy recliners, right? They pulled that away. Now they're at Lazy Boy. At some point, they're going to get to lazy, become like basically the idea of, hey, lazy. And I think they're trying to get there. I think the idea of the evolution is here. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a marketing gimmick. I think all it's doing is bringing them back into the conversation. It's going to allow them to say, hey, you know, we're lazy. Here's Lazy Boy. Here's what this means. But again, I always talk about how many units is this going to uptick. And I think it's still pricing points are a little bit higher. There's alternatives out there in the market. They're not making it easy to buy or sell. I think they're not marketing that. I think they're marketing, hey, there's just another marketing campaign. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it'll stick for a little bit. I think it's going to get you in the conversation. But I think at the end of the day, it's still going to not drive unit sales. And I think that's always what's, you know, marketing's job is to support sales.
I love how we go from talking about a workplace that you want to work at to your right to be lazy. It's just so right and left. My right to be lazy or to work for a super cool company. What will I ever do?
Look, I'm going stud on this, but here's why. I think the messaging is talking to the procrastinator in all of us. Yes, that includes all of us. If you're going to go to and talk to a generation to show their love for sitting back, it's this one. You know, look, we got gamers, we got work from homers, we got reality TV binge watchers. Samir, you know, Love Island. We got podcasters.
Oh gosh.
Not you too. And built-in AI, come on. Like built-in AI to generate an excuse to cancel. Hinge dates everywhere are going to get the same 5 excuses. People will probably laugh about it and they'll see some click-through on this. But sad fact is that no Gen Zer can afford a $1,500 Lazy Boy recliner. It's just not going to happen. So I think Wayfair is where people are going to go. They got what you need.
Gotta admit to you guys, in college, the only time I ever saw someone have a Lazy Boy is if it was just hanging out in someone's front yard saying, take me, and then you have a Lazy Boy, boom. You didn't have to pay for it and you just get one. So I think that's a really good point about cost effectiveness of the brand. I think that the campaign, whether it's a dud or a stud, I think it's a dud, and it could just be the woman in me who will never understand the importance of having a premier lounge chair in my living room. Are they aesthetically pleasing to most women? You know, I don't think so. But if you're going to put together like this really ornate living room, the last thing you want is just like a Lazy Boy in there. But do you sit in the Lazy Boy the most comparatively to a nice furniture that your wife buys you? Yes, you do. It's used a lot more. So I think regardless of whether or not the campaign is successful, people are going to hear Lazy Boy. They're going to be interested in it. And if anything, it's going to open up a dialogue between anyone who can afford it or not. And, you know, your right to be lazy, whether you purchase the chair or you go find a dupe somewhere, I feel like that's going to generate plenty of conversation that will weed out the people willing to pay that kind of money for a chair and then be a hot topic for anybody who claims their right to be lazy in the world. So I think it's going to be really funny to see what my generation does with it, whether or not they're sitting in the chairs or finding them in the front lawn, or whether or not the company actually gets more sales. But in a place where we need people to work hard, I don't know if the right to be lazy is something you want to feed into Gen Z.
I don't know, Sarah, if you ever come to my house, my wife, I got to pick one thing, was my couch. It's not a Lazy Boy, but it's a couch. And like I told her, if we leave this couch, I'm like, we're done. Like, this is couch stays. I don't care how dirty it gets. This is the most comfortable couch. It took me forever to find it. So I'm not a Lazy Boy fan.
That's what I'm saying, though. You got your non-negotiables. The Lazy Boy breaking up marriages, relationships. You got to have it.
Salim, I got to ask, what brand is that couch? Is it going to be a Crate and Barrel? Is it going to be a West Elm? What is it?
Actually, it's gallery furniture. Okay. Oh, Texas, American made, man. American made.
He knows it. I'll give him points for that. That's cool.
Yeah. I
He
think
knows that. I
this
don't
is a
know.
really
That's my way. Maybe you'll see just small increments of really hard work for people saving up to buy their lazy boy, and then it'll help the workforce, and then you get to have your right to be lazy after you've worked really hard to get it.
What is like this AI feature going to be called? Like SAT GPT? You know, like I don't know.
Lazy GPT.
Lazy GPT.
Nobody's going to be woke. Everyone's going to be sat.
It's a good one.
Yeah, no, I think this is really fun. I think all points are valid. I think if Lazy Boy is really going to try to redefine itself, it's going to have to justify the price tag that comes with it. I think what I really appreciate about this, of why I at least think that this rebranding in this campaign is at least a stud, is because I feel like they're saying something that no other real furniture maker is talking about, and I feel like it's making itself a lot more relatable to the average person than what a lot of these what I would call like higher end furniture brands, where you actually know the brand of the furniture. It's something that you're proud of, right? When someone asks, where'd you get that couch? There's that moment of pride that comes through when you know it's going to be a Pottery Barn or a Crate and Barrel. And I feel like that's the part that doesn't make it like seem like they're talking to the same person, but they're finding a way to still be relatable to an average person. Now, is this an average person's price? Safe to say, probably not. But I think that could be something that's coming soon if they're able to. But all really great takes. I think this is fun. I love what Lazy Boy's doing. It's cool stuff.
So who's ready for beautiful women in lingerie, high heels, walking on a stage to some great music? Well, Victoria's Secret's fashion show is back. And I'm not sure how Gen Z is going to let it stay the same. After a hiatus since 2018, they're shaking things up in style. This time around, the brand is mixing things up with a documentary fashion show hybrid called the Victoria's Secret World Tour. And guess who's taking the runway by storm? It's none other than the streets rapper herself, Doja Cat, who'll be headlining the show. Victoria's Secret's once a headline-grabbing sensation faces share of turbulence, plummeting viewership, calls for more inclusivity, and allegations of misconduct. But now they're back with fresh designs, a global creative team called VS20, and even Doja Cat's personal creation, a collection she calls Powerful and Confident. Already Gen Z's kicking in. So is the revival a dud that's way past its prime, or a triumphant stud to bring something back and reclaim its spot in the limelight? What do you guys think? Is it a dud or stud?
So Liam, the first line of how you set that up is exactly why it's a dud. Like I think Victoria's Secret has been trying to rebrand itself to be more inclusive for the last few years, but it's lost its differentiation in the process, in my opinion. I think Victoria's Secret, if we think about what it used to stand for, it used to define the standards of beauty. It defined the standards of sexy and confident. But today, our culture now defines it, right? Each individual person now defines what we believe as beautiful and sexy and confident. And now Victoria's Secret is just trying to get with the times. The fashion show it was world famous at one point because it created a fantasy that many people wanted to buy into. I just don't see what they can create with this old platform that will make people want to tune in. I don't see what they're going to create that's going to make people want to get buy-in again the way they used to have. Keeping it under the same platform and the umbrella, trying to call it like it's coming back, but it's going to be completely different. It's confusing. I think it's just going to miss the mark. It's risky. I think there's a lot here that I wouldn't want to touch with the 10-foot pole. I think I could appreciate what Victoria's Secret's trying to do with its brand. I think making initiatives to be inclusive are the right things. I still think it's a powerful brand that has the legacy to evolve the standards of beauty. But what can you do with a fashion show that doesn't just end up falling flat when you can't be that authority in beauty and sexy anymore? I don't know. I think it's going to be a dud.
I'm going stud, but proceeding with caution. So here's my take. I think if Victoria's Secret embraces femininity and doesn't worry about accepting all walks of life, and that's just unneeded stress, honestly, to make this work out. I think it can be a win. I think what they went through just a few years ago was less about what Victoria's Secret was doing and more about society was telling them to be. And still today, tribalism is alive and well. We all know that. There's nothing that is loved by everyone, not as other than Taylor Swift, but there's nothing that's loved by everyone. We know that. And so rather than trying to be everything for everyone, they should just talk to the crowd that made them popular in the first place, which is women. Like, love women for who they are, talk to women, be the brand for women. You will obviously attract all walks of life, but hyper focus on the same group of people that made you Victoria's Secret in the first place. Of course, no brand should ever alienate anyone. It's not about hating on any group. It's just about celebrating women and femininity. That's my take. I really want to hear from Sarah, though.
I know Victoria's Secret. Have you guys heard that song? I have lots to say, I think, about this, because I think this brand growing up has always been just, whoa, like, that's a woman, I guess. She puts these wings on, she's walking all confident, coming from the fashion industry. The models I always saw smiled, and I just think models who smile on runways should sell more clothes than models who don't, because why? It's just like a march. But the idea of it was really cool. I think the hyper focus on the specific woman who's going to come back and shop that, she's the woman who has gotten involved in this controversy that the brand has had, and she's maybe not talking a lot about it, but she's hoping that the brand can deliver. So people going in and arguing the integrity of the brand, as it has been with all the things going on with Victoria's Secret, but then almost saying, like, what are you going to do about it? And I don't know if this particular fashion show has me convinced that the brand itself is going to be able to catch up from where it left off, because while Doja Cat's awesome, and while it's easy to say confident and femininity, like, harder to show it. So I feel like rather than just bringing in a famous pop star or saying that she's confident when she's already in front of, like, even more people than I could probably ever see, then we need to figure out how to make the average woman feel as confident on a daily basis too. And maybe maintaining that is going to be harder. So maybe it's easier to say you have this fashion show and they're going to do a really great job of bringing all the elements that they were missing the mark on earlier together for this one culminated event. But I'm not convinced that the brand can maintain that through longer, like, longevity. Is it going to just get smaller and smaller and then resettle to where it started out in this response to what's going on? Or is it actually going to change and answer what I feel like my generation has asked it to answer? I think it's a valid point to say that not everybody's going to like everything. So yeah, no matter what you do, unless you're Taylor Swift, I don't think you can captivate massive audiences all the time. But I think Victoria's Secret has the power of curiosity, where if you were growing up at any point in time seeing that as like an idea of a woman, that you would be along for the ride to see how they deliver and bring that into more than what they have before.
And I think you all hit it really. I think it's authenticity, right? I think we talked about it before. And just to wrap it up, right? I think if we stick to the focus of the organization that they're focused on, I think they're going to do great. I just think they need to figure that out. What is their niche market? And I think we're all touching on it, right? And if we look at just straight up numbers again, right? Pre-show, when 2018 numbers were 13.2 billion. After that, it went straight to 5.5 billion. It's slowly creeping it back up again to 8 million recently. But I think if they keep authentic to what they are, and look, it's not a bad time. Barbie was authentic. They came out exactly the way you are. And you make a good point that, hey, these are the buyers. And if anybody remembers the history of Victoria's Secret, the reason it was created in the first place to let men shop for women. That was the core purpose of why Victoria's Secret was even born. But yeah, that's great takes, everybody.
Sarah, you've always been good about the handshake agreement. You've been an avid listener since we started.
Of course. I mean, my word is my word, and I stick to it. I'd like to take the reins of reminding all the listeners in the MadMan podcast to remember the handshake agreement. Marketing strategies and ad campaigns are all around us. Look around. And these guys are absolutely breaking it all down and creating a space to discuss it all. It helps the growth of the podcast when you join in on the fun on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. A deal you could have used the support from the group this weekend when you had Nike coming after you. RIP. So double tap the content, comment, and tell a friend so that you can come join the fun and do these guys a solid. If I'm being honest, as the only female in the group, just do these guys a solid, okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. I can tell no one wrote that for you, and it was from your heart. Now back to the pod.
All right, I'm going to take us into brands to watch. If you guys haven't heard the segment before, this is where we get to share a brand that we see going up or down or sideways. We just got to kind of discuss why you need to keep an eye on them. We'll have our guest of honor go first. Sarah?
Yay! Okay. Guys, I'm so excited about this because, we're talking about things going down. I live in South Dakota, and you can probably recall some of the marketing strategies that our governor has used, and that's why South Dakota is on the map. But I don't know if I should say that on this pod, but I mean, it was on a map, so I feel like it's fair. But the brand that I want to bring to you, I would tell you to keep your eye on it, but I can't because it's Clear. So Clear Whey Isolate Protein Powder that started in Minnesota, just the neighbors to the north of South Dakota over here. And I thought it was cool to bring them up because they exploded. Since 2021, their logo or slogan has been all clear, all good. And the idea has been to replace or create a better version of whey isolate protein that maintains the integrity of ingredients. You get whey protein. It's thick, it's milky, oftentimes can make you feel a little heavier on your feet when you're going to the gym. So this brand has removed those elements and created a juicier one. Get on the juicy side. They say that too. So basically, they started in 2021, and you mix this up the same way you would a clear isolate, but it's a lot lighter. And Mark Cuban's got a hold of this brand, liked it, gave it a 10 out of 10. And they were selling out of their living room in Minnesota and now become more of a national presence with TikTok over 100K, Instagram slightly behind that, but on the up and up. I mean, having to disperse, you kind of go with wherever your product takes off, I would say, and they totally did. And they had 2 flavors to start and have sold out every single flavor and now have, I want to say it's 4 going on now. So it's strawberry splash, mango pineapple, blue raz, and watermelon wave. And I think they did a really great job with the titling of these because it's beyond just the standard chocolate or vanilla, has a little bit more zest to it. If you look at their marketing, you pull up the website for Seeq Supply, they're all fun colors. And as a former athlete myself, I feel like your protein powder matches your matchy workout outfit. Like you're going to have a much better experience in the gym. I feel like really the world right now is ruled by color. So if you have something fun and colorful and delicious, I feel like you have something that you're fulfilling for a customer. And quite honestly, I never thought that there could have been a way to fix the milky protein powder shake. So I thought it was a neat idea, something that I would have never thought about and something that I've never seen anywhere else. I enjoy the brand because of the transparency of
Literally?
the brand. Literally.
Literally?
I cracked myself up. Okay. I was writing this and I thought, wait a second. It's clear and it's transparent. But if you go to their website too, they have, their brand story is kind of like a running dialogue. So they update it as they go about the process, and they put pictures in and talk about how they started small and are growing bigger and everything in between, just the story of the protein isolate. So I like that they share that continuously on their site. And I thought that was a cool way of like developing your story instead of just, 2 paragraphs saying, here's what it is. You might like it or you might not. And then I thought this was a very fair price point too. So $44.99 per 25 servings. It maintains 22 grams of protein and tastes good with 0 sugar. Because another obstacle I would imagine would be looking at this isolate powder and thinking, oh, it's probably going to have a lot of sugar to make up for the texture differential. And it doesn't. As a woman, I like that. That's just like a free pass. That's $3.99 on the health for me. So I would grab it. And I feel like, it's fun. It's online. You can only get it online. And I feel like for this brand, it's just interesting to see how they go about showing their new flavors after you have that viral moment with Mark Cuban, how you keep that going. And I feel like they've done a really great job with it. So I'd be interested to see if they take it beyond just one product or just this one, or if it's just kind of one of those things that starts and then dies out. But it's proven to keep going. And I think it's fun, affordable, and in the mindset of Gen Z. Those of us who are looking to find the most affordable route to health and wellness are still going to invest in things like this for the gains.
The game.
I know. I'm looking at this website. I'm looking at the website right now, and the macros on this are crazy. There's literally straight protein and nothing else. And this is, I'm in. I'm about to go. What's your favorite flavor? I'm about to buy one of these right now.
Yeah, I'm a strawberry lemonade girl. So anything strawberry lemonade, you can put some adult beverages with that. You can put it as a regular strawberry lemonade, or you can have me drink it before I go work out, and I'm going to pick that one. And they're not like obscure fruits either. They're fruits that you realistically think would taste good. And so that just draws me in even more because it's not something that I wouldn't even eat as a normal fruit that I'm going to go try and liquefy and drink before a workout.
You see some of these brands is like triple berry orange sickle.
Yeah.
Like the most is like not a fruit.
If you can name the 3 berries in your triple berry, I will drink it. But if you don't know the 3 berries that are going triple berry in your whatever it is I'm about to drink, I'm out. I'm out, man.
Awesome.
Love it.
Let's love that. My brand to watch this week is Madden NFL 24. If you are a fan of sport video games, you know that it launches this week. And you also know that it's a very buggy game every year. It constantly under-delivers its promises. Things are broken. Things don't work. People are frustrated.
Wait. So if you had a lazy boy and your game is bugging out, does that cancel the need for the lazy boy and your right to be lazy? Like, we got to coincide these 2 ideas somehow.
You got to come together. Collaboration, just like we were talking about before. More collaborations coming. It's just something to watch because you hear about how bad this game still gets and how frustrated fans are. And all you listeners out there know exactly all the disappointment that you're going to expect with Madden this year, just like you do every year, and you're still going to buy it. Me included. I'm going to be fully honest. I ordered it. I can play 3 days sooner than most of you guys out there and get disappointed even quicker. Look, Madden is EA Sports' flagship property. It's one of the best-selling sports franchises out there. And EA has the exclusive gaming rights for the NFL for now. But I'm going to be watching all the negative tweets and threads coming this week. And then I'm going to be watching EA Sports make bank once again. I just love seeing this pattern happen every year, and everyone gets so fueled by it. People talking about this is a make or break moment for the Madden franchise. And, there's other gaming entities out there ready to take those NFL licenses and make their own game with it. But it's just funny to me at this point to see how many people continue to get disappointed and then continue to throw money at it because you just got to. You have to. You're an NFL fan. If you play video games and sports, you're going to spend money on it. No matter how much it's going to be, no matter how disappointing it is, no matter how many features are broken, you're going to keep buying it and you're going to keep playing it and you're going to keep hating it. And it is what it is. That's going to be my brand to watch.
It's your money, not mine, that you're spending on this game that breaks. But I feel like as a dude, is there something to being part of this community of laying back in your chair, like, bro, mine just glitched. Me too. But at least we're going to throw a Hail Mary in the next non-glitchy moment and it's fine. So is it just this community of misery that's more attractive that keeps buyers coming back? Or is it just because you refuse to play a game that's not Madden that doesn't have your favorite NFL team plastered on its back? Like, why? Help me understand.
I feel like people just don't want to play a game that's older than a year. No one wants to say that they're playing Madden 23 in 2024. No one wants to say that they're still playing last year's version. And you're not going to get the updates. You're not going to get into the live community that's only for the 24 community. There's so much behind it, and I love how EA Sports continues to rig it for themselves.
So I'm not a gamer. I don't play any of these games, but to me, it's just more of I feel manly. It's like a bro thing to do. I don't know. I see people play this game. I'm like, why? It's crap.
Do you guys get an iPhone pretty regularly?
I was going there too. You read my mind. That's the same thing. Oh my God.
I have this tendency is every couple years I'll get an iPhone. My sister, on the other hand, she'll make this an iPhone work until it absolutely gives up on her. And I think this is the same philosophy, the companies that just figure out a way to create reoccurring business because they don't want, it's clout, right? Like what Samir was saying, that you don't want to be seen as behind. I think it's genius. Milk it while you can, EA.
This is what EA should do, is do a subscription model. Just forget the game, buying the game. Just subscription, $20 a month for the rest of your life. You get every version of the game every time it comes by. And that's you know how much valuation that's going to get in the market? Public markets would go crazy for that SaaS model. And it would work so perfectly. I think EA needs to go do that. Just turn it into a SaaS product.
They've rigged that too. They've rigged that too. $25 or $30 a year, and you get a discount on future EA Sports games. You pay a membership, so you get a little bit of a
membership, and then you pay the game.
Do you get a discount? Yeah. Are we going up steps?
Wait, what?
Ladies, watch out. Your man's going to be gone longer than you would normally think because they're
the
getting
Costco
glitchy
model.
and
This is the brand you will shop with when you're headed to Europe on your next trip. So I am a sucker for when you can combine design and utility, it equals virality. And so my brand to watch this week, hits it out of the park when it comes to that equation. Baboon to the moon. They're known for their colorful duffel bag backpacks. So they're called these go bags. Check out the website. Great elevator pitch on the homepage. It's beautiful. There says, be the brightest star at baggage claim or at the rest stop. Designed with super durable materials and comes with a lifetime warranty, meant for missed trains, getting caught in the rain, love at first sight, and compliments. Guys, that's poetry. That's poetry coming from a duffel bag company. We have a couple of them, and we took
This
them.
duffel bag really speaks to him.
Yeah, no, it really does. Like, we have a couple of them. We took them to Europe with us, and we had their 2 kids with us as well. So, we didn't need any roller bags with us. They were beautiful to carry with us. We got lots of compliments as well. Their mission is to make the world more colorful. Baboon to the Moon believes in getting lost and staying curious, they say. Interestingly enough, that's why their logo is like a squiggly arrow. And it's just meant to be, it's called the Lost Arrow. They have 3 design rules, which it's so beautiful because they're following them to a T. It has to be sustainable. It has to be technical, and it has to be colorful. So anything they do moving forward has to follow those 3. So while they are a duffel bag company today, any product that they create from here on out has to follow those 3 design principles. I love it. I mean, despite them being a small brand, they're so dedicated to brand identity, and almost 200,000 followers on Instagram also agree with me on this. So Seth Godin, you guys know the marketing genius, has this litmus test on if a brand is able to go into a completely different industry and you can imagine what that would look like, then they have a brand. Otherwise, it's just a logo. So I decided to do the same test on these guys. Baboon to the Moon, if they were to do a clothing line, if they were to do a hotel, heck, phone accessories, I can totally imagine what it would look like. So that's the beauty when you're dedicated to brand identity, and that's why Baboon to the Moon is my brand to watch.
I think it's awesome. It's so colorful. The arrow thing really got me. Gen Z, we want to be as lost as possible. We don't ever want to be found. So if there's an arrow that tells me I can be as lost as I want to be, then I'm going to buy it. I can attest to having at the airport like the most standout bag. And I haven't had a Baboon to the Moon. I'm going to get one. But it works. It helps you find your luggage, especially around the holidays when you're traveling and you just need to like find it, pinpoint it. So as a woman, I think that is so nice because you can find it. And I like your test that you did on there because you could totally see this brand going like far bigger than it already is.
I think the whole tie into the travel piece, it's so spot on with like, people trying to define the airports and everything's got to coordinate together and all that kind of stuff. Like this is like a piece of luggage that will like stand out and be a part of your personality. And it just kind of coordinates with whoever you want to be. I feel like there's a lot of power there, especially when you're traveling, because there's a lot of that you kind of have a little stigmas and those personalities. You just kind of get mixed into the crowd. I think it's a really, really cool brand. I love the design approach to it.
Going off of that, does that mean we have to look nice at airports now because people will look at you when you carry this bag?
Actually, you can look like total crap because this bag will do the rest of the job for you. This bag will upgrade your outfit.
Spot on.
Did you guys hear Bed Bath & Beyond is back, baby? If you don't believe me, go put it in your URL browser and try it out. It's back. Well, kind of. So retail giant went into bankruptcy, as everybody knows, but Overstock.com somehow acquired its name, brand, and IP for a mere $21.5 million. So what does that mean for Overstock and Bed Bath & Beyond? Is my brand to watch? I think it's going to change. It's definitely going to change the nostalgia around Bed Bath & Beyond. And they have already rebranded the website on both sides. So if you go to Overstock or you go to Bed Bath & Beyond, they're both the same. Look, what does it really mean for them? Is it really going to help that uptick? And is it really worth spending $21.5 million on an IP that could be kind of dead? Or could they have spent that $21.5 million somewhere else? That's maybe a topic we might have to discuss in the near future for Dud or Stud. But for right now, we're going to see how this plays out. That's my brands to watch.
Are they still going to give me the 20% off coupon on the Retail Me Not app every time I shop there? Because I relied on that in college.
Yes. The answer is yes. It's the first they use is app inclusive, and they actually upped it as 25%.
Oh, this is Christmas. What? I'm going to watch for that.
The fact that you knew that, Sarah, and how many people do know it is exactly why they bought Bed Bath & Beyond's IP, is so that they can buy that sentiment right there.
Do you guys think like Overstock needs to get the picture that they're just not going to be around? They went to O.co. Do you guys remember that big campaign?
Yep.
O.co was their thing. Like Overstock.com is now O.co. And I think Overstock has really had a hard time figuring out who they are. And I mean, the fact that they were just saying, okay, forget Overstock.com, we're just going to go and get Bed Bath & Beyond tells me that they never had a good brand strategy from the first place. They were willing to get rid of a shortened URL, something that says so much about what they do, yet they went after and bought this brand name that A, just failed, and B, it's very hyper-focused on home goods.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, their revenues are down, right? I agree with you, right? I think they're down to 21% year over year, 20% before that. I mean, they haven't seen a growth since 2020 or 2019. And that was probably because people are home in pandemic trying to buy random stuff, right? So outside of that, they saw one little spike, but other than that, their numbers have continued to fall. I don't know if this is, if this is a save the grace movement.
It's just funny that even the company named the brand name Overstock.com. Like, what does that mean? It means leftovers.com. It means nobody wanted to buy this.com. It means we have a surplus inventory because we couldn't sell enough stuff.com. Like, they had to move on beyond that. It's not buying $21 million worth of Bed Bath & Beyond. That's an interesting move, but they had to move on past Overstock.com.
For the .com portion of it, I guess my mentality for Bed Bath & Beyond, the original, was I would need something and go and use my coupon and buy it. And if they didn't have it, I was just severely depressed at the world because they didn't have it in the store. Because the website, I've never really ordered from their website. So do you think like part of this acquisition is going to be developing more of an online presence for the company? Or is it going to be just a store that you either love it because they have it or hate it because you went there and they didn't?
Yeah, time will tell.
That's a good point. Time will tell.
All right. So we've had quite the slew of technical issues, and editors are going to have a work cut out for them. But, we had the King of Caveats, Samir, the Short King of Disney, Salim, and the Duchess of Dakota.
Oh,
Thank you guys for your takes. Stay fabulous, guys.
Men go
Yeah.
mad.
Gone mad.
MadMen.
You're mad.
The man's mad.
MadMen.
I'm mad.